Hi, I'm Shelley Bradford, Minister of Worship Arts.
And I'm Spencer James, your Communications Director. We are coming to you via video because I'm unable to join the service here this Sunday morning. But what Shelley and I wanted to share is, very important to us. This is basically a summary of the last year of experiences and discussions that we've had that stem around racial inequalities and the terminology white privilege. And really me coming to terms with what is white privilege.
Yeah, I think our discussions began when the church as a whole was having a diversity series and you were in Melody's class. And there were several things that troubled you and offended you about the conversations that were being had in your class.
And one of those was the term white privilege.
Yes.
As an individual, I try to be very open-minded. I really try not to say stupid stuff and discriminate. Though if I'm completely honest with myself, I have this whiteness ingrained in me. And I think if a lot of us are honest, you can relate to what I'm talking about. So when we sit in discussion series where, as a white person, I felt like this was against me. This was telling me what I am doing wrong as a white individual, and I am privileged. My defense mechanisms went up, and I had to deal with a lot of emotions and feelings around this whole topic.
I think an aha moment for you seemed to be when we had the discussion about privilege, and that privilege is not always something people even realize they have, or that they're not always, it's not necessarily malicious. And we talked about the fact that straight privilege is something that's afforded to straight people, in that they can walk down the street and hold hands.
I remember you saying that.
In that they can say, oh, it's our anniversary and celebrate it. They can say they're getting ready to get married and pretty much be assured that their family's not going to abandon them. And that though we may walk down the street and hold our hands and so forth and so on, we don't have the privilege of doing that without being noticed, without being condemned, and so forth and so on. And also we have American privilege. We talked about that. We wake up every morning, have the privilege of having running water. Most of our toilets flush, and food is easily accessible. And that's a privilege we have that other people don't have. It doesn't make us horrible that we have it. In fact, we should. Straight people should have the privilege they have. America should have the privilege they have. White people should have the privilege. And so the privilege itself is not wrong. It's just that unless everyone has that privilege, we have to make sure that everyone has that privilege, and that's what's lacking.
So, Shelley, if I'm being honest, I don't know what to do next. A year ago, I find out about white privilege. I take purposeful steps in learning more and discussing this, and then through the same year, we have this craziness going on in our nation. It feels like it's getting inflamed even worse. I feel caught in between Black lives that matter very deeply to me, lives of my law enforcement friends that I care for deeply. I don't want to take sides. Then I have this crazy white sphere of influence that may or may not be in agreement with me, may not want to hear what I have to say about it, and frankly, I don't know what to do next.
I think a misconception may be that one thing negates the other. That if you believe that Black Lives Matter, then you don't or can't believe that Blue Lives Matter, that you can't believe that all lives matter. And the truth of the matter is that they all do matter. Um, the movements are just to help us realize that though they all matter, some are more targeted. And I really wanted to go on record for myself and most of the African Americans I know who would say Blue Lives Matter as well. Um, we know wonderful police officers in this church and otherwise who are upstanding, wonderful citizens. So what we're really saying is for the cops who are not doing their jobs properly, let's make sure that things are put in place to make sure that we don't have to worry about getting behind the wheel of a car and so forth and so on. And let's care about white lives and let's care about all lives, but all lives won't matter till Black lives matter too.
Maybe that's what I'm not doing enough. Maybe that one post on Facebook, to try to make peace on all sides is not enough. Perhaps I need to be sitting down at the white dinner table and having this discussion with white friends, letting them know what your family is experiencing. To maybe take my friend law enforcement officer out to dinner and have a discussion there. To keep the discussion
Yes.
going, to bring it to light, to not keep it in the dark, because I think the only reform is going to come when we're talking about this.
Right. And I want to thank all of the friends here at Life Journey who have asked those questions. What can I do? Tell me, I don't understand. Help me to understand. Thank you. Thank you for standing, because that's a way of standing. Just wanting to know how you can be part of the solution means everything. And so we really want to thank you, and let's continue to talk and let's continue to listen on both sides.
I think just as many people in the congregation that are standing and saying something, there's also an equal amount that are probably like me, don't know quite what to say, what to do next. Afraid if they say something that, they themselves may have opposition.
May be perceived as being
Yeah.
prejudiced or something. Yeah.
I guess my charge to them is to find a confidant, open this discussion. If it's in your heart to have this discussion, find a confidant, pray about it. Because I don't think this is the way of Jesus. I don't think what is
Right.
happening right now is what Jesus would intend. And so if we are to be Christ-like, then having these discussions and finding ways that we can lift each other so that we truly all lives matter. Truly
Right.
all are one in Christ Jesus. There's no levels.
Right.
I think that's going to be important, and it might be a long road. Like again, 1 year ago at 36, I'm just learning what white privilege is through a Oasis discussion series, and growing through conversations with you to now I want to do something, I don't know what to do, what shall I do? So it's a learning process, but I don't think that we can just sit silent if our hearts are drawing us to speak out.
Right. Okay.